How you doing, guys? This is Matthias Atva from Dreadnought, your Dreadnought PS4 replay guy. I hope you guys enjoyed my first video of 2019, the introduction to Ender's Game. Ender's Game is one of my favorite books of all time and a short but amazing read for anyone who is a fan of giant spaceships battling it out in a well-developed sci-fi universe. Although it's primarily a lore video, I put a lot of time and effort to make it a high-quality, dramatic narration and history story. If you haven't gotten the chance, check it out, and if you have, be sure to share this video with any non-Dreadnought sci-fi fans. I really think they'll love it. Now we jump right back into the Dreadnought action. I have a great 18-0 Vindicta replay, but since I've been playing this ship fairly often the last couple weeks, I didn't want to play out the Flash theme or just make it another meme-filled replay. So today I'm going to do an often requested commentary video on how I judge ambushes and engagements when I'm in all-out offense mode, and hopefully give you some insight on how to be an effective hunter without getting stuck in a Zerg or kamikaze-like mentality. Soon I'll be posting 2 more advanced tactics videos on defensive escort and offensive tips and tricks that will tie into some of the tactics I use in today's replay, so stay tuned for those. This replay will be a little less focused on general strategy and more on what was going through my mind in this particular replay. Special shout out to Beefalot, who is a truly dangerous opponent and is never to be underestimated. Speaking of which, here he is now leading the charge and only at half health. He's not focused on me and probably used most of his modules, so I'm going to take the chance and knock out a dangerous opponent while I have the surprise on my side. Now I'm going to move in and use my flashpoint torpedoes to take out this other destroyer behind him for the double kill. Now I could have gone in and attacked that artillery, but I notice on the minimap there are a lot of enemy dreadnoughts nearby, and that would cause me to overextend past my team, so I decide to regroup and look for another opportunity. While I'm regrouping, I want to mention the quick arty kill I got in the start of the match. I was going to flank around to the left and rear of the enemy team, but I literally saw a window of opportunity through the opening in the central tube and took that arty out, who had gotten a little too far ahead of the enemy team's offensive line. I swoop back and notice our command ship is safe, so I'm going over the top of the tube to check things out. The enemy team seems pretty preoccupied with my team, and I notice an opening on the enemy tack. Normally, if I start an attack run, if I take fire at about 4,000 to 5,000 kilometers, I'll break off, but so far, so good. But this tack is a little tougher than I thought, and I take a broadside and some fire. Although I didn't get the kill, I decide to break off while I can instead of being too stubborn. I see if I can finish the tack on the way out, but Starkiller and the other Corvette on my team finish it off and get me a quick and safe captain kill. I'm on my way out and I notice a warp jump opening, and it's probably not friendly, so once I clear this asteroid, I pull a slick Immelman underneath it and try to get directly below the Dread where it can't shoot me and I can assess the situation. It misses with its broadside, but the Dread is wise to my maneuver and I have a salvo of missiles incoming, so I decide to duck back under the asteroid again and look for another target. Lo and behold, another target, and it's flash all over for this Dread, and I swoop back to the tube to get a handle on the situation. The command ship seems fine, so I go back on the hunt and evasive the wrong way into the tube, but luckily this happened out of combat, and no one knows how goofy I can sometimes be. I try to finish off a weak beef for a second time, but Starkiller has him covered, and the destroyer I nailed before sees my approach and launches flechettes. I see that the missiles are flechettes and duck behind the ring to take them on the shields because the damage won't be that bad. I'm about to go in again, but I notice that artillery is trying to sneak up on us, so I temporarily divert my attention to the arty and finish it off with some torpedoes and flak. I took a risk not doing a full alpha here, but I want to save the flash for the next target and start a quick streak if I can. I'm about to jump in on the attack and destroyer right next to each other when I notice Beef is in his Akula Corvette and does not look happy with my progress so far. Beef is one of the very few players who is absolutely deadly with an Akula Corvette, so I carefully start maneuvering and take a shot with my flash to see if I can get lucky. It was a long shot and I miss, and now I go into full-on Corvette dogfight mode with me and Beef entering into a spiraling space ballet with flak and plasma flying all over. He clips me with a blink, but I barely finish him off with the flak while a bewildered Tier 3 Corvette watches in amazement. Beef put the hurt on and the attack sees me and tries to lock its beam on me to finish me off, so it's time for me to break line of sight and duck behind the asteroid and get some power and a little bit of hull back before I jump back into the fray. I noticed that a lone destroyer broke away from the pack, so I go in with torpedoes, guns, and flak to knock it out. I try to be efficient and save the flash for the next kill, but I should have used them because Starkiller swoops in to snag the kill. I show my disapproval with a quick flak burst, but I'm over it soon and move on with the game and still got a captain kill, so it's no big deal.
Thrusters.
It's time to get back into the thick of it, and it's a quick scan for targets when I notice another Jupiter destroyer below me trying to do something brave, so I punish the destroyer with torpedoes and guns, scoring a quick Avenger. Okay, so by this point I really want to flash somebody. I'm about to pounce on a distracted destroyer when I see that tactical just above and behind it. So I go in and unload on this tack, but this player has really good survival instincts and good gameplay techniques and again manages to survive my alpha. By now the other enemy players have realized I'm in the area and I start getting a lot of unwanted attention. A Corvette on my team finishes off the tack and gets me a kill, and this time I'm not complaining. It's out of the pan and into the fire. As I move away from the enemy team, I fly right towards a Vigo who's already got a beat on me. I decide not to go kamikaze like other players since I'm low on health and energy, and again, I dive and fly directly underneath the destroyer, getting into one of its two blind spots so it can't hit me with those awesome Jupiter guns. I see I'm almost out of range of the enemies behind me, but notice a Dreadnought attacking our command ship. Normally I'd try to kill it while it's distracted, but I don't feel the moment, and with all the pressure on me, I decide to continue moving to a safe distance. I look back to assess the situation just in time to notice two destroyers launch missiles at me, so I get behind cover and try to lose everyone. Now that I'm safe, I circle back to look for either the Dreadnought or that Vigo. I see the Vigo and it's not targeting me, so I move in for the Alpha. I miss with the flash, but that's okay since it forced the destroyer to put power to engines to dodge them, and my torpedoes, guns, and flak finish the job for the streak. Now I'm in a really good spot and I really feel the rush. I know the enemy team is no longer focus firing me, and I see they are all spread out and in open ground. I love the outer areas of Saturn because I have plenty of open space to maneuver. Flash torpedoes are great for this style of high mobility because I can dodge and shoot 360 degrees and not worry about bumping into terrain, but there are still enough asteroids in the area to jump behind cover if I need to. So I blitz the tack that was tormenting our poor Dreadnought at close range where it can't return fire effectively, and then turn the vengeance of my flash torpedoes on a nearby destroyer, picking up the savior and saving our Dread. But uh-oh, here comes Beef, and he's got beef. We again start a dogfight style maneuver war. I have torpedoes at the ready and they guide in without giving Beef missile warnings and strip his shields off. He's an expert user of the Immelmann, so he's not taking much damage, but I work him down with my guns and flak. He gets me down to half, but a lucky nudge throws off his shot and blink warp attempt, and with another flak burst, he's out of my hair. Whew! Okay, I've cleared this corner of the map, so it's time to regroup and join my team. I see a missile swarm coming in, so I decide to duck behind this asteroid and get some energy back. I have a couple of targets in my sight when I notice a Vigo below me and to the left, and before it gets a chance to react, I jump into close range for the drain and the flash alpha. There's a tack out there off in the distance trying to beam me to death, and normally I'd dive right in and eat it up, but the enemy team is beginning to group up again, so I decide to fly behind another asteroid and circle around their rear. My plan is foiled when the two destroyers I killed before have respawned, both notice me, and both start launching missiles and opening fire. This is no good, so it's time to back off. While I'm trying to get away from the two vengeful destroyers, I see a Dread all by itself not paying attention, so my choice is to turn around and fight two destroyers who have me in their sights, or clobber this unsuspecting Dread with an Alpha, so it's no choice at all. By now I see I'm back amongst friendlies and decide to get my balls up and head back to those two destroyers who have been tormenting me. But I see an artillery cruiser all by itself, and even though a tactical tries to save it, I use torpedoes and flak to quickly dispatch it. Now it's on to those destroyers. I back off for a quick sec to reassess the situation and dodge an incoming Goliath and some long-range artillery fire. But I see we're ahead, and by now I probably have a bunch of kills, so even though I'd normally be a little more cautious, I dive right towards those two destroyers. I picked the one on the left because it's further away from the rest of its team and the enemy tactical. I didn't use my flash on the arty before, so I could have it available for just this moment, and boom! It's my second Saboteur for a total of 570 bonus points. The other destroyer wisely decides to stop chasing me and get closer to its team, so I decide I should circle around to hit the enemy TAC or Jupiter artillery further away using the rocks as cover. My plan falls flat on its face though, as even though we had a good lead a minute or so ago, the enemy command ship, believe it or not, has killed our command ship to catch the enemy team up in points. Can you imagine of all the dumb luck? Before I know it, a couple of my team members go down, and even though I worked so hard in this match, getting 18 kills and surrendering no points to the enemy, we lose 303 to 299. What a great game. Great job to Beefalot, who got 10 kills, the highest on his team, and a couple command ship kills to keep his team in this game while I went on my killing spree. He wound up doing the most and eventually carried his team to victory. What a close game. But ultimately, this match shows that no matter who you're up against and how good they are doing, you can still snatch victory from the jaws of defeat with quick thinking and teamwork. Well, that's it from me for now, and I'll see you soon in Sinley Bay.